we had, I think, Monday Night Football on, and the delivery was happening, and then about 10 minutes after, because I was over with where they're doing the weighing, I look up and go, "Do we want to turn this off, maybe?" And this doesn't seem very serious.
Yeah.
And I look like a bad person right now.
Right. Welcome to Dadsplaining, a weekly chronicle of all the weirdest, messiest, grossest, and funniest parts of fatherhood, hosted by two first-time dads. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Brandon.
And this week, we are going to be talking to new dad, Ryan Campbell. He's got an 8-month-old son. We're going to ask him lots of questions about the pregnancy phase, what it's like being a new dad, things he didn't expect, all that fun stuff. Just so you know, we are streaming this on Facebook Live. You are missing it if you're listening to this on your podcasting app. So to catch the next one, you can follow us on Facebook. Just search Dadsplaining, and we're pretty much the only result that comes up, or Dadsplaining, a fatherhood podcast. And we're on lots of other channels too. Brandon, where can our listeners find us?
Yeah, as you mentioned, you can get us on Facebook, but please also give us a like, a follow, etc. on Twitter or Instagram at Dadsplaining Podcast. If you want to communicate with us directly, you can drop us an email at dadsplainingpodcast@gmail.com. And you can find this and every episode anywhere you get your podcasts, but we do appreciate you also watching the Facebook Live.
That's right. And if you haven't already, do us a favor, leave us a rating and or a review on your favorite podcasting app. It helps us kind of expand our reach a little bit and feed our egos at the same time. So you'd be doing us a double favor. So Brandon, what is new with Noah this week?
Well, we've been having a good time changing up the sleep schedule and the sleep routine once again, just because, we're gluttons for punishment. But, we're in an unusual position. We've kind of been hanging on to the nightly bottle a little bit longer than maybe some people would. My son's just over 15 months, and just this past weekend, we finally decided to nix that.
Good for you.
Yeah, I know. And it actually went a lot smoother than I thought.
Nice.
The first night was, touch and go. There was a lot of confusion because, he's just used to getting that bottle when he goes down, and instead, he wasn't getting it. So he's like, what's going on here? Like, I understand that you are preventing me from getting the nourishment that I want. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm just the guy that's trying to keep you alive. Why would I keep nourishment from you? So, it was a little dicey as with every change, but all in all, it's actually gone very well. So I just felt like, sharing, because I was extremely apprehensive about it. And obviously we've held on to this for a while because we were so apprehensive about it.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of reasons to not want to do things, just, the fear and the anxiety. But then something else that, I didn't really think about is, like, it's just unusual to put him to bed and then not see him again until the morning. Like, I know that sounds a little weird, but, sometimes we might go in and give him like another bottle, what we call like a dream feed, where he's been asleep and you don't really wake him up. You just kind of pick him up and give him a bottle, and he's dreaming.
He knows what to do
and eating and whatever. Exactly. And that's totally instinctual ever since the beginning of his life, with breastfeeding all the way to today. And now we're just not doing it anymore. So now when we put him to bed at around 7 o'clock, we don't see him again until 6:30. And so it's just kind of weird. Like, there's that attachment. Some of those elements of, like, the cute baby, like the happy, moments where you're, like, holding them and kind of cradling them, and, you get the bottle, and, like, it's very sweet moments, very nice. And it's gone. And I'm just like, wow, man, I wasn't ready for that part of it. But at the same time, I mean, it's obviously a burden relief. And I've talked on a couple of episodes about how we have, had some issues with, him eating, solid foods and things of that nature, which he still doesn't seem to really want to eat dinner. He ate his dinner last night.
Hey, congrats.
Hello. Like, I mean, I don't know, we don't have a lot of breaking news on the show, but eating dinner.
Yeah, no, that's a revelation when it works, yeah.
Yeah, so he ate dinner last night. So in theory, if you don't give him the nighttime food and the bottles, it should make him hungrier, which sounds terrifying. I'm going to send my child to bed hungry, but then when he wakes up, he's like ravenous in the mornings. He's like eating double breakfasts, like he's like, bring on the pancakes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's all good. It's all good. So, I mean, everything's on the up and up. So, feeling kind of good. So, hats off to all the parents out there anguishing over, big changes to routines and schedules. You can make it through. It can be done.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How's it been going for you guys, Jesse?
It's been going good. So we've been back from our vacation for a week and a half now, and some things are still not back to normal. Sleep schedules, we're still kind of adjusting to that, and it's kind of compounded by the fact that David is entering that sort of testing boundaries phase of toddlerhood.
Oh, boy.
Now that he is 20 months old as of yesterday. It seems that he is refusing to do certain things just to see how far he can push us.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, which is natural for kids, at this phase, but it's really annoying.
You don't say.
Yeah. So he will just flat out refuse to eat dinner, even if it's a meal that he likes. Like he has always historically loved chicken pot pie, and my wife makes a great chicken pot pie. But this past week, she made a batch of it, and every night he has refused to take a bite.
Oh my God.
To the point where, some nights we'll give him a little snack and then send him to bed. Like last night, I caved in and I made him a meat and cheese plate instead, just because that's what we had prepared.
Yeah.
So I had to come up with a quick fix substitute, and it worked out. And he ate it, so he didn't go to bed hungry. But still, it was irritating. It was like, fine, okay, I'll eat your chicken pot pie then, which I guess wasn't that bad because then I got a double helping of chicken pot pie. But anyway, and then he's doing that. He's kind of refusing to go to sleep sometimes. And I mentioned that we gave him his pacifier back on the cruise because it was a new environment. We didn't know how it was going to go, and just something to keep him calm. And that's great, except now every once in a while he'll find that pacifier around the house. He'll pick it back up and pop it back in his mouth.
Oh, yeah.
So we're a little worried about regression there, trying to keep it away and hide it whenever we can. Which has been interesting. The cool thing is that he has fallen in love with the book Brown Bear, What Do You See?
Oh, yeah.
Which is a very easy read for a kid. There's lots of big, colorful pictures. And that's the only book he wants to read right now, which is funny. Like, he's got a bookshelf full of books. He'll walk over to that, pick up that specific book, walk over, bring it to us, and make us sit down and read it to him. And we learned last night that he knows the word for it. So if my wife Ashley says, "Do you want to read Brown Bear?" He'll go, like something like "bamba," or
Bamba.
the double B sound is in there.
Yeah.
So he's working on words, which is great because so far he only really has no and dada and mama.
Isn't that nice? He picks up no. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. No,
that's what he starts out with.
Exactly. So that's been a really kind of cool thing, is seeing him like fall in love with stuff like that, where he's passionate about it.
That's great.
I say passionate, 20 months is a little too young, but we're going to go with it.
When he's 20 years old, you'll be being like, "Do you remember that you loved Brown Bear?"
And he'll be like, "I still love Brown Bear."
Yeah, exactly. Still reading it at night. Now, I got to say, when the kid doesn't eat dinner, I've been going through this quite a lot.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here. When the kid's asleep and you've moved on from that moment, you and your wife, you guys sit down on the couch and you're like, "God, what a little jerk," right?
Yeah.
Like you just, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know about you, Ryan, we're going to get into this probably when we talk to you about your situation, but like, yeah, I kind of, I don't call him names, but, I definitely look at my son. I'm like, "God, what a turd."
Yeah, you got to let off a little steam. And if he's being a turd,
I love him, but at the same time, it's just like, dude.
Sometimes you got to call a turd a turd. It is what it is, especially when they make turds.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, they're entering that phase, like I said, where they want to test their limits and see what is and isn't okay, and see when we're going to push back.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like having to overcome my instinct and push back in certain areas, when I would normally cave in. Like, I'm trying to be firmer with him and stricter, and I'm trying to be bad cop. Like, I tried that last night, and it doesn't go very well because I'm not good at it.
Not so much. You're not very intimidating.
I'm not. If you're watching this on Facebook Live, you can see I'm wearing a T-shirt with like spacemen and planets on it. Like, it's very goofy looking. I'm not an intimidating figure, but I'm working on that. So on to this week's topic. We are live in the studio today with a special guest. His name is Ryan Campbell. He works with me here at Cox Media Group in Atlanta, Georgia. And he is the father of the 8-month-old William. We are going to talk to him today all about the pregnancy phase, what it's like being a new parent, things he didn't expect. So we're just going to dive in. Ryan, thanks for joining us today. How you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm good. Thanks for inviting me on. This is going to be fun.
Absolutely. You been getting any sleep lately?
Yes, William we had the always present 3 months of the 1 a.m.s and the 4 a.m.s. He started sleeping through the night when he was 4 months.
Congratulations.
Get this guy out of the studio. I don't want to see him ever again.
You get your bumps, you get your kind of 4 a.m. He's finding his voice now. He has very articulate babbles, and you might just roll over and hear him, and he'll go right back to sleep. He'll wake up at his 7 a.m., 6:30 to 7 a.m. is his wake up.
Yeah.
And we'll open one eye at 7:20 and be scared out of our minds, going, "Why isn't he up yet?"
No, I get it. Yeah.
And no, he's just sleeping off the hangover from the night before or something. But he's been a great sleeper.
That's awesome.
I hate him
I
already.
don't.
Sorry.
It's not gonna last. You know?
There's the attitude that we're looking for. Perfect.
We're waiting for it to all come crashing down any day.
Absolutely. So where I'd like to start today is all the way back at the beginning. So so I'm thinking that he's 8 months old now, so combine that. It's been about 17, 18 months since I guess you guys found out that you were pregnant.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the story. Like, how did that go? How did, I mean, for one thing, I always love to hear the story. How did your wife tell you that she was pregnant?
It was, I think we have such a wonderful history of screwing up each other's surprises since we've known each other. So we were trying since January, and sidebar, we had no idea. While we recognized the complications of pregnancy for male and female, people try for years, and there's all kinds of medical practices. It took us 2 months. And none of us saw it coming. It was like,
same.
it's one of those, let's maybe a year, maybe 9 months.
Right.
2 months.
Yeah, we won't high five because of the microphone, but like air five on the incredible fertility over here. Boom.
It was a very big blessing, and we are very lucky for that. So around, I think it was after Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
We have a joke about 75% off chocolate, so we don't shop until February 15th.
There you go. There you go.
And so she got one of those pregnancy test packages that have the different kinds. So she went with, I'm going to use the maybe the lines there
Oh boy.
test instead of the digital in your face.
Oh, you
that's
gotta
a
get
rookie
digital.
mistake. Oh
And
god.
so she puts it in the candy, which sounds worse than it is.
Yeah, no, I got
it
you.
was empty, but it was and it was sent like, hey, can you get me some of that chocolate?
Oh,
And I
boy.
opened the lid, and there's a 50-50 pregnancy test.
No
I go-
one's still
and
sure.
of course, I know your baseline, but being a guy, I think, being practical minded, you go, oh,
Is that a line?
I
Is that a
don't
line?
know if, what is that? That's about a 1.5. And,
You sure about that?
and so it blew the wind out of her sail. And so the next morning, she goes running out with the digital. Goes,
Right.
how about this? I go,
Uh-huh.
that's better.
That's right.
So,
That's right. You got an 8-month-old son, but we're not sure if that pregnancy test actually worked out or not. That's right.
well, I think it's that kind of that small line of deniability and maybe a little fear too, where you're okay. Wasn't this supposed to take a while, and there's supposed to be doctor's appointments and more advice and books, and here we are. The clock's running.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So then you guys kind of hit the ground running. How did the pregnancy go?
Good. It was. I think I was at. I try to make about 80% of the doctor's appointments. Her mom was there for the others, but also I wanted her. She wanted, and I wanted other people to go. My mother went with her, just to kind of share that world of that we are a part of, but women are. That's a whole other galaxy that we can't understand. And I don't think we should try. That's something that's very sacred to that female entity. But it was good. She carried well, and she was very athletic up until about 7 months. And but I mean, she grew well. She was eating good. She was exercising, and of course, as the guy, you're trying to. You're playing that backseat of what can I do?
Yeah.
You're and trying to stop the hover.
Yeah.
And like, no, I'm not. Debilitated. I'm just pregnant.
Yeah.
And that's what I think you do see that. But I think it was that small bit because we didn't have very many examples of the way that she was presented, where she'll enter a public area and let me hold the door and be a little more polite, male and female. And because there's I think that male characteristic of related or not to help, but also females. I know what you're going through, and that kind of sisterhood.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And I would kind of be 2 steps back, going, "All right, this is nice. Thank you for treating her so well."
That's right. They hold the door open for her, and you're like, "Oh, this is lovely," and then it shuts in your face.
Slam. Part of this.
Well, it's funny because I mean, Brandon and we're very far removed from it now, like the pregnancy phase being in the phases where, but like I remember, I could recognize the trimesters, by kind of First trimester, there was a lot of the morning sickness, which really is a misnomer because it's an all-day thing. And then the second trimester, it was like the golden, what do they call it? The golden phase or something like that, where, there's just like this rush of endorphins and they're kind of happy and motivated all the time. Like I remember my wife completely designed, painted and like renovated the baby's room over the span of like a week just because of that golden phase. And then the third trimester, like you're feeling everything more, and then you're just ready for it to get out. And then you're there, So how did the delivery go?
Delivery was great. It was we were about 2 weeks early, and she was in for her final, and we had a wonderful doctor, and the nurse said, he said, "You're not going home today."
Oh, wow.
And this was North Side. And so we went and got a bagel and went right over to the hospital.
That's right.
Nice.
Proceed directly to delivery. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
similar situation. Our viewers of her, our listeners, all of the above, have heard in various forms of audio that we had a similar experience. We went in for a checkup. We were a week late, though. So we were going in, to do our kind of final, like, make sure everything's okay if we're going to proceed a couple more days or not. And we were told proceed directly to delivery. At this point, we were prepared, though, because we were on the opposite side of things. We were past the time, and so we knew, like, we were going to get the go signal at some point. And then we proceeded directly to Chick-fil-A, had a little lunch, kind of bulked up.
Yeah.
And then went.
Yeah, well, because, you're not going to get to eat, like, at least she's not going to get to eat for a while, and you're not going to want to eat in front of her while she's in that phase.
Exactly. I tell everybody it was the best part of the delivery day was getting a little Chick-fil-A lunch in there and just kind of bulk up for the events to come.
Load.
Nice.
It was, and I think those 9 hours, because I remember her doctor appointment was at 11. We got there at noon, and he was born at 9:39, and it felt like 2 hours.
Yeah.
All you're doing is sitting in a room, but some reason it flew by.
Oh, yeah.
And she, there's the dilation, and there is that point of, shouldn't there be people around right now?
Yeah.
The clock's running down, and a nurse comes in, this, 1, 2, 3, bye.
Nice.
And then the next hour.
Yeah.
And then, okay. And then even the delivery itself, 3 people besides you.
Wow, yeah.
I remember, and I think it was doctor, nurse, and an assistant. But then once he's out, 15 people.
The army
in.
comes out. It's like a small troop. Yeah. Exactly.
And I do remember small fatherhood. Side note, we had, I think, Monday Night Football on. And the entire time, I remember it was Green Bay, I think the Jets. And I remember them... the delivery was happening, and then about 10 minutes after, because I was over where they're doing the weighing, I look up and go, "Do we want to turn this off, maybe?" And this doesn't seem very serious. And I look like a bad person right now.
Right.
But
I was like, I promise it was the nurses. It wasn't me.
I do know, on a medical sense, I remember, I saw the head, and. But the actual execution, I was northbound. I was up, and we're big gym and running people. So I think as a dad, I don't know about you guys, but when it's actual time, I went into business mode.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't I wasn't an emotional person, but it was kind of, I went into coach.
Yeah.
As we are.
Oh yeah.
But it's one of those, all right, here comes your second set. Give me 20 reps, 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
she took that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because that's all I had to go on.
Nice.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
We didn't practice
No.
a mantra or anything.
No, it's just like, do you. Yeah, it's like, hey, you want to push? Okay, great. You push.
Yeah.
Push.
No, we didn't try to joke or make light of the situation, but it was very an even pulse.
Nice.
There was no drama or spike, But the only thing with her, she said, she had a cervical tear. So as you're over at the baby and you're looking over and going, he's been stitching for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask because that's kind of.
No, I don't think you want to.
I'm gonna ask that later.
Yeah.
And it was, but then you keep looking over. And go, Doc, you still going?
You go okay?
You got something to say?
Need a map? What are you doing?
But I think that was about just a 2-week. 3-week recovery.
Interesting.
But that was her only complication.
Yeah.
It was natural. I mean, she had the epidural,
Yep.
but natural delivery.
Nice.
That still counts as natural. Does that still count? She didn't have a C-section.
Look,
I think the way it's described is it's
natural is no pain. Right?
It's not natural, but it's vaginal is the way they describe it. Like it came out of there versus a C-section. Yeah, because I made the same blunder. I was like, oh, we had a natural birth. And my wife texted me later. She's like, no, we had an epidural. What are you talking about? Yeah. And I was like, yeah, no, I know we had the epidural, but like you still delivered
out of your natural self.
Right, your natural route.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you check out that needle?
Exactly.
Did you see that needle?
I don't know if I really paid too much. It's like you said, I was just in like this zone of like complete awareness of what was going on and attention, but at the same time not really absorbing much of it. It's like when you're driving and you don't remember how you got to where you got.
Yeah.
But you were definitely paying attention the whole time because your life's in danger.
You got there.
You got to get there. But I just remember being kind of fascinated. It was kind of odd because like all the build up and like we did the birthing classes. Do you guys do birthing classes at all?
No, we didn't.
Well, you aced it anyway, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I could tell you that you sort of didn't miss much, but like we watch videos of delivery and it's a little terrifying. And everyone's always like, oh, don't show me the birth and whatever. But then when it came for the moment, I was like front stage and I was like, oh, this is incredible. And like I'm watching the process unfolding and I'm like, wow, that's really going to come out. And oh my God. And like I don't remember being grossed out. I was just like kind of weirdly fascinated by the situation.
Yeah, exactly. It's so weird. Like the way I've described it before is like that the day of delivery is whether it goes super fast or in my case it felt super long.
Yeah.
It's like you're on another plane where time has no effect. Like there's maybe windows, but there's like not clocks on the wall. It's hard to tell whether an hour has passed or 9 hours has passed because you're in this weird sort of environment that you've never been before, and you're not going to be in again until until the next baby comes, if the next baby comes. And it's just so different. It's so weird. It's like going to a casino where they black out the windows, they don't put clocks on the wall so you don't know what time it is and you keep gambling.
Yeah, it's like 8 a.m. and you're getting another martini and it's just like, oh.
Yeah, it's like you have no grasp on reality. It's just so strange. And you do kick into, like you said, business mode where like underneath you may be a nervous wreck like I was, but then on the outside you're like, okay, I can't let her see that because she's nervous and we can't both be nervous. So you switch on that cool, dependable rock mode, at least for the time being. That's what I did. I was fine. I was like the supportive person, the anchor, and then afterwards like, oh my God, I can't believe we just did that. But then you do, and you get out of it. So all right, so you guys had a healthy birth, a good birth. That's awesome. What I guess the big question I want to ask is, what was surprising about it? What could you not expect going into it that happened?
The birth itself, I think just how many were involved, and I've never had an aha in 8 months. Never. In 8 months, I haven't had a sudden break of. It hit me. Yeah. It's hit me. I see him every morning, but there was never just this earth-shattering emotional time. Yeah. Which then you reverse on yourself and go, what's wrong with me?
Right. You're cold and feeling.
You do. You feel it. Yeah, it's a baby. But but then you feel like the hiccups of when you have like a sudden panic or anxiety or But I mean, going back to the birth itself, I mean, everything's very vivid. I remember just how active you feel going on a little energy, a little sleep, and I learned very quick. Before I had a kid, I was very careful. I didn't want to hold babies. I didn't want to. This is fragile, and I almost feel. I don't know about you guys, but holding another parent's child feels very intruding to me. Yeah. From a guy's perspective, like this is yours. This is like a self-respect towards someone else's. Hey, like that's yours. That's brand new to you. I'll come back when he's 10. But it's that. But that kind of reverses back where people, oh, can I hold him? Like, yeah, sure. But I learned very fast that a baby is not fragile. Yeah. Yes, it is.
It is, but they're also malleable.
But you're going to be fine. You don't have to wear a hazmat suit and feathered gloves to hold it. Yeah. And
if anything, the early months are the best time because they're not squirmy.
Exactly.
They're not going to kind of get out. Yeah. And I'm just going to go ahead and ask, have you dropped your son?
No.
No? Okay. No. Well, sorry. You just both of us have. High five,
no.
Jesse. Best dads ever over here.
No. has he fallen off the couch?
Okay.
That's
fair.
Maybe.
All right.
Okay, there you
We'll
go. We just
count
wanna-
that.
wanna
That
give you
was a
something to
bad
say, like,
first.
yeah.
That panic.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah.
Especially when you hear it.
Yeah.
Because we have a couch in like this little sitting area near our
Mhm.
kitchen, and I'm at the fridge, and we're sitting him in a like a boppy, the boppy pillow.
Yeah, the
Oh, yeah.
boppy.
And he had a toy, and the toy went to the floor, and he chased the toy.
There you go.
And you just want to get sick.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
And that's also, it's a hard lesson, but that's when you figure out that babies are tough things.
Yeah.
And there's been little bumps, and even when he was sitting up playing his little piano yesterday, and I left him, I think, across to the couch, and he did the roll back onto the floor.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
could hear
yeah.
the head hit.
Yep.
and,
Yep.
But no, that he's been bunked around.
Yeah. I mean, of course,
It,
it's bumped around.
it happens to
Yeah.
everyone. I mean, I dropped my kid in the pack and play when he was 7 months old, and he screamed and cried for about 5 minutes, and I hated myself for about 5 days. But then they get over it very quickly. And now, like, my kid is 20 months old, and we just took a vacation on a cruise ship, and he's like running around the room, falling down multiple times on his head, on his legs, on his knees. And I'm like, okay, fine. He gets a few bruises. Like, it's funny how as time goes on, you worry less about those little things, because you do learn that, okay, they're going to be fine. And especially when they're in daycare and other kids are biting them and pushing them down, and you get the phone call, like, just so you know, everything's fine, but David has a bite mark on his arm. And you worry, and then they totally forget about it by the end of the day. Like, you come pick them up and they've got the bite mark, but they don't care because the pain goes away very quickly, because they're kids. Like you said, they're not that fragile.
Right.
Which I think is a really cool lesson that the dads learn, and that's when you get to start having fun with them, and you do like the semi-rough kind of play and wrestling as they get big enough to handle that, and I think those are the fun times.
I think too. I mean, abruptly kind of backing up on the timeline. The biggest complication we had was with breastfeeding.
Yeah.
And my wife wanted me to touch on this because she knew I was coming.
Mhm.
So talk about this, because this isn't talked about enough with women, and men only see it in their wives if it happens. And she was having problems with the latching and with supply. She had to go off finally at 3 months. And it was actually, did you go to our Christmas party?
Yes.
The day after, she was already contracting or developing signs of mastitis.
Yes.
And we got home, and at 1 o'clock that Sunday, she had to go back to the north side with 102 fever.
Oh, man.
Boy.
And I don't know the processes, but she developed in her left side just this walnut-sized, hard.
It's a blockage of milk, right?
That was so infected. And it's something that was our biggest. It wasn't the pregnancy. It wasn't the delivery. Is watching that as a dad.
Yeah.
First of all, you already got a kid. We got a 24-hour care over here, right? And she was going through the mental and physical breakdown. Of, and there is this underlying, very successful marketing package of breastfeeding is natural, breast is best, and this golden hour of women feeding their kids, and there's this underlying layer of just horrible torment that they go through if they can't feed their child.
Exactly.
Intense shaming, like societal shaming, because no one talks about it, so no one's necessarily going to know that you're going through it. But you're going to just hear other women talking about it and how easy it is, or seeing them doing it, and you're not doing it. And then if you bring out the bottle, and they're going to look at you like, oh, you're on bottle already? Like, oh, you must have failed. And it couldn't be further from the truth.
Exactly. And what's crazy is that it does kind of, the trends change. Like, I know that in our parents' generation, and maybe the generation before them, formula was considered best. And if you breastfed, that almost looked like, oh, wow, you're kind of low class, like you're feeding your baby
weird.
from your
You
body.
can't
Like, just do
afford
formula.
formula.
Formula is what the doctors recommend, and that's the best. And then it changed, but the pressure never really goes away. It's always just do whatever the doctors say is best and whatever people in general say is best. And if you can't do it, or if you don't do it, there must be something wrong. Even if people don't say that, the kind of unspoken pressure is there. Like, I know that, like, when I was a kid, I was allergic to I think I was allergic to my mom's milk,
Sure.
and I was a jaundiced baby too, so there were a lot of problems. So I was on formula almost instantly. Luckily, my mom was one of those people who just didn't care. She's just going to do whatever's best for the kid.
Yeah.
But
What a concept.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
Right. I know, but you do feel a lot of pressure. There's a lot of stigma, and I'm glad that you brought it up because that's something that probably a lot of dads who didn't go through that, or if they're not at that stage yet, maybe they didn't know that could be an issue. But it's something just to check in, with your wife and make sure there's, do whatever you can to support her in it.
I think that's the twist too. Is as a male, it's very easy you want to fix everything. You want everything to be right.
That's true.
Yeah.
And that's something you cannot do. anything
Exactly.
about.
Yeah.
No.
And it's that nexus of, all right, here's a kid, we got to take care of them, but over here, so there's two things that require a lot of attention, and you can do a little bit of each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so to watch that of, you just did the most incredible thing with your body and
Right.
To create life, and you're in torment now.
Right.
And with the fevers and not sleeping and it's like this constant pain, and there's with the postpartum that comes through it.
Yeah.
And you just sit going, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Right.
want to switch bodies.
That's the best you can do. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to be like, can I do any? Like, I mean, really? Like,
Yeah.
I would sub in
Yes. Yeah.
somehow if it was possible.
Yeah.
But it is, and she did get a lot of support from her friends and even people that just say fed is best.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not just
Yeah. No, that's a great way to put it.
just fuel your kid.
Yeah.
Healthy
keep it
baby is
alive,
best,
and it's easy to do, but I think that's one thing that you have so many opinions and self.
Oh my God.
all the stereo.
Yeah.
What are those parents doing? You're not even a parent yet.
Yeah.
Right.
I had dozens like, why is your kid crying in this public place?
Uh-huh.
And or like, oh, do this, and then you become a parent. And go, oh, I take back so much stuff that I thought I knew.
Yeah.
And you go,
Exactly.
I get that. One of the tones that, and you being in radio, where there's just things that hit your ear that you do not like.
Yeah.
There's no fault of the cause or the origin. I never liked the sound of a kid whining. You just, but as soon as William started crying, it was just natural. I go, he's communicating.
Yeah.
Right.
First of all, he's alive.
Yeah.
You want
Yeah,
to hear your
exactly.
kid
It's a good
cry.
sound check.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You go,
It's
there's
when the kid
sound.
is
Good.
quiet that's when the worrying
Yeah.
should start. Yeah.
Yeah, for
a
sure.
baby on the plane, I get it.
Yeah.
You got to get from
Totally.
A to B.
Exactly.
I'm crying.
Yeah.
Basically, a kid is communicating how we communicate, just in a different way.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't have the words yet.
Flying's awful. That's
Yeah.
universal.
Yeah.
And so, I get it, guy. Put in your headphones.
Yeah.
But and even you said you took 20-month-old
Yeah.
on a cruise.
Yeah.
We went on a cruise. He was 7 months.
Really?
nice.
Good
We-
for you.
We hit the ground ready to hurt.
Wow.
We've been to Disney 3 times.
Oh my
and-
God. 3
Oh,
times?
And the cruise. I know that sounds spoiled. I'm sorry.
No,
That
no.
sounded really-
I'm
that sounded
saying
arrogant. And
no,
like
I'm
rich
saying
fat.
that's brave.
But
Yeah.
we thought, well, let's do this now. We had
Yeah.
annual passes, and it's 6 hours away.
Uh-huh.
He sleeps in this room, but it's very different, and that's where you also find that where things are different. Where just getting in the car now, well, you got your 99-point checklist.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a process.
But you don't go out all day. You're not laying at the pool. You're not doing just you and her. And so it's instead of riding 4 rides from sunup to sundown, you might do 4.
Yeah.
And the ones he's been on Dumbo, and he goes on the little
Oh, that's cute.
carousel, sitting thing, and he naps out. All right, I'm gonna go run on Thunder Mountain.
Uh-huh.
You can go after. I'll
Yeah.
watch him.
Right.
It's just a different life.
No,
and
it
You
is.
have to accept that, and I think that's one of the perils that parents have is you have to let go of that selfishness of this isn't about you anymore. It's
Yep.
about all of you, the 3 of you or 4 of you,
Yeah.
and enjoy what you do. But there's a compromise.
Yeah.
And you're going to go back to the hotel or back to your cabin at 7 p.m.
Yep.
You're gonna
You
stay
put on
there.
you put on some cartoons, and that
Yeah.
was fine too.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
that's exactly what it is. We talked about this way back in episode 1 of our podcast, where you become a dad, and it's not like the old you completely goes away, but it definitely merges into you think of everything in terms of we, and you identify as a dad before you identify as Jesse or Brandon or Ryan, like, and that's how people start identifying you too. Like we, our family, their first question to us is always, how's the baby? How's the family? Instead of how are you? What have you been up to? And then you're okay with that because you enjoy talking about them. And then you still you find those little pockets of time that you can make you time. For me, it's like my commute home from work is when I get to listen to music or podcasts or something like that, and then you go home and you're ready to be a parent again. Life just changes and it doesn't get worse, and it doesn't always feel better. It's different and you learn to adapt to it and that becomes your new normal. And I mean, I think it's kind of beautiful the way that it works, the way that you just kind of naturally, not always naturally, and you don't always feel that it's natural, but you kind of fall into it and it just becomes who you are now.
I think it's true. And I think there's molds of 21st century parenting that, while very new at it, I try not to fall into, where I'm still a punk idiot who likes heavy metal, and running, going to concerts, and that's stretched out now. But you can sometimes see in dads apparel changes, or things get kind of decaffeinated, and I go, nah, that doesn't have to happen. I still listen to Metallica with an 8-month-old in the car. The volume's just at 2 and not 10. Yeah. And, I'll put on, we get home from daycare, and I'll put on 90s alternative on the little speaker, and we're dancing around the Foo Fighters and Soundgarden. And you can still do that. And, I mean, he's going to be a musical kid, and he's this is football, and this is it. And you just have to create it into a family environment.
Yeah,
and,
totally.
You don't have to just go dumb down and things don't change. You can still go on trips. And, he's been in a pool and he's had his feet in the sand. And, so just be mindful. I don't think you have to be overprotective. But kind of be yourself, but also let them. Okay, I like this food, or I'm going to wake up at this time, and I like this toy, and you're not this shoving outfits and like you're going to like this, because that's what you like. Like, let him find his own, ring of likes and dislikes, and oh, that tastes bad, and oh, I like this, and well, if it tastes bad, yes, you have to eat all 4 food groups, but
you'll eat those peas, Timmy. Come on,
love peas. Peas.
Oh, well, good for him.
Yeah, that's good.
There you go.
That doesn't always work that way. My kid did at first.
Change.
Right now, he doesn't.
You're right.
But it's been fun. I'll ask you guys. I think the best time of the day is, and I think it goes for any dad, is when you wake up and they're in the crib and they're awake, and you turn the light on and they look up and they smile at you.
Oh my God!
Come on,
gotta love it.
That's what I got. You want me to? No, I got it. I'll be right back. But then his funny and slightly is also at night. He gets hyper as he hits the crib. He'll fall asleep when he's feeding. And it's the bottle, and you're rocking him, and you're putting him right down. The light goes out, and the eyes fly open, and it's just wiggle, and go, no.
It's like a horror movie all of a sudden. Like, Yeah, we were just talking about this last night with some other friends. It's like something about the putting down, the gravity, like the sensation of falling. It just snaps them back, and it's just like, come on, dude, you're so exhausted. We just spent like a half hour rocking you like a little baby prince, and I'm just like, come on, you're on your comfy bed, like couldn't be a better situation for you, but then you're just like, ooh, what's going on over here? Let's play. Let's play.
Is it a new day? It's dark out.
Yeah, right.
It's dark when I woke up.
Exactly. I've been asleep. I just woke up. I'm rested.
Yeah.
It's been 5 minutes, man. Come on.
Yeah, and then you finally get him to sleep, and then you have like that moment of serenity. You know what I mean? Where you're looking. There's something. It's funny. It's kind of ironic. Like sometimes some of the most peaceful, like loving moments are when you're looking down at your unconscious child because they're not, whining or anything crazy like that. And then when they get up and you get the smile, like I only get that on the weekends because I have to go to work before my son wakes up in the morning so I can pick him up from daycare. But I really, really enjoy those moments when I can open his door on a Saturday or Sunday morning and he's already standing up, looking over the crib and jumping and smiling,
They're picking up from daycare, right? I
Exactly.
mean, when you walk in the
pickup.
room, like they turn around because they're never facing you. It's really movie-esque.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like, you walk into the door, you say the kid's name, they turn like, yay!
Yeah.
And then there's like running over or crawling or
That.
something like, yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
It's
I-
beautiful.
exactly. You got to enjoy it while you can, because I know as soon as my kid hits puberty, he's, it's going to be, oh, great, you're
Or
here.
like 3. You
Yeah.
know, who knows? Yeah, it's just gonna be like,
You get that
hey,
neutral
old
face.
news over there, Dad. Yeah,
Yeah.
come on now.
I have vivid memories of when my dad would get home from work. I was 5 or whatever age, and he would come in the door, and I would come around from the living room down that hall, and he would do the crouch.
Oh, yeah.
And I go, that's
You're ready for
anything else. That's number one.
I'm ready
Whether
for it.
they're 1 or 20, that's what I'm.
it.
That's
Like
what
the thundering down the stairs or whatever it
and
is.
the yell,
yeah.
the big long daddy.
Daddy, daddy, daddy.
And
Yeah.
I see it
Yeah.
at the daycare. If a dad's picking up too.
Yep.
And I think there's a 3-year-old there, and he does the patter
Oh yeah.
over, and I go,
yeah.
I can't wait for that. But that is, the smile is great, and he kind of moves his arms. But
Yeah.
then you pick him up from daycare, and you get the neutral face. They turn, they look at you,
Yeah.
and they look right back.
Yeah,
Okay.
back at what they were
What
doing.
did I do?
But the good thing about that is that means that they are adapting well to being in that environment. You know what I mean? They're socializing with other kids maybe, or they're getting along with their teacher, or they're finding toys and stuff that they like. And that was the hard part with my wife. Like with the first day of drop off for daycare, David did not even blink. Like she set him down. She prepared for the crying and the separation anxiety. He just crawled off and played with some toys.
Oh.
And then she got in the car and she's like, "Well, crap. Like
WTF?
What am
Come
I?
on.
What am I? Chopped liver?"
Yeah.
But that's a good sign. You know what I mean?
It's
So
okay.
it's like finding the good, I guess, even in the what feels not so good. It's just it means something good is happening, and then you do get the wonderful days where they are happy to see you, and it makes those even more special.
True.
So before we wrap up, so here's what I'm thinking, like for new dads listening, because we have a lot of dads who are maybe in the pregnancy phase right now listening to the podcast. Do you have any advice for them or anything that they should be thinking about that no one has maybe told them yet?
I mean, this is an unsolicited, unpaid endorsement, but there's a great book, Dude, You're Gonna Be a Dad.
I think I have that book.
You might.
I did. I don't think I ever read it, but I bought it.
It is very good. There's a lot of things that may seem common sense, but it was written, and I don't know the guy's name right now. I'm not going to take time to look it up and kill time, but it was written by a former NFL player,
Oh.
and it is written in layman's conversational terms that isn't going to scare you like a lot of books. I won't mention their titles.
You can say what to expect when you're expecting.
Thank
That's
you.
fine.
Don't. Okay. Just crawl in a hole and live there for 30 years with your child. Anyway, but that one, Dude, You're Going to Be a Dad is just, it's like having a conversation with a dad and say, here's what I can tell you from start to finish. And there are some gems in there of, that would be a thoughtful thing to do. Or what to maybe you haven't thought of, and maybe kind of prepare for different scenarios in the different stages. I'd say just be available. Do little things right now because of the different, whether it's hormonal aspects or the different busy, we're all have different busy lives in 2019 of bring home something silly that you like. Oh, it's just ice cream, or it's just this dumb stuffed hippo that you found in a Kroger. Do it. I got my wife a hedgehog with a heart on it. I mean, just stuff like that.
Yeah.
Keep active as you can, and kind of don't feel like you have to take on the habits that she does. I exercise and try to eat well and run because this child is going to exercise you. I'm not I'm not shooting anybody's weight or different life choices. That's fine. But you're going to do squats, and you're going to bend at the waist, and you're going to be holding a baby in your arm for hours, it seems. So it's time to start, I exercise to be ready for life, whatever it is. So just try to take up some kind of health regimen. And because your wife's going to need you to do things also, that can you get me this? Can we fix this? Can we do the nursery? Can we prep the car? Can we install the car seat? And you are going to be tired. I've never slept better, actually.
Wow.
Where now that he sleeps, I mean, I conk out at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah.
There are a couple of really good, like a 3-part pregnancy classes on YouTube. Watch the YouTube breathing stuff. And they have a really good series, and I wish, again, I had it with me, but it's a pre, a during, and a post.
Oh, okay.
as far as postpartum, it could happen. It might not. It is just to check yourself, watch your priorities, and don't hold anything against your wife. I mean, like I said, the hormones are changing. I mean, I would pick up a dumbbell at the gym that weighed 25 pounds. Go carry that for 9 months.
Yeah, oh yeah,
No.
Absolutely.
Just put on a weight vest for 9 months.
Yep.
Sleep in it, eat in it, work in it.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
that alone. I mean, no, it's just a horse. No, man, strap on 25 pounds right now.
Yeah. No, seriously. I when I was walking around the airport, I had a backpack on my back and then one on my front. And the one on the front was probably about 25 pounds. And I was like, I guess this is what my wife felt like. And I was like, no, because I'm doing this for half an hour to go from one gate to the next gate. I'm not doing this for 9 consecutive months.
Yeah.
And it gets heavier as it goes along. I totally get that.
And I think, if you don't feel like you're, should I be more emotional? I should be more happy or joyful or scared. Just be yourself.
Yep.
And know that a lot of things change. I've never been really antisocial, but when that kind of all went away, I was perfectly fine with it. And to this day, there are days that I'd rather talk to an 8-month-old that can't talk than a lot of other people. And I have that where I don't feel that draw to go out and be with people I don't know. I mean, I miss friends and family, but when you get home and it's the three of you, I don't think of any of that.
Nothing better.
So it's a great ride, and I'm just trying to say things that people, there's so many novelty conversations about that, but and do the little things that you're gonna have moments. Go for your run, cook, go see a movie.
While you can,
and but yeah, get ready and you will be fine during the delivery. Something snaps in your brain and goes, "Oh, I will watch this. I can cut an umbilical cord," and you will want to hug your doctor if they're doing a good job. Because our doctor was amazing.
As long as they catch the child, which was 50-50 for us.
Especially
it was a
when
close
they're
call.
Yeah, that's right. You're sitting catch the baby.
Face.
Yeah.
There's no emotion.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
He goes, "Yep, this is my 9,000th."
Yeah, they stare into that, and they're just like,
that
the day of the
Jedi look
office.
there,
Yeah.
that's a little weird.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you need to break your stare there for a minute. What are you doing there?
So that's about all the time we have for today. Ryan, thank you so much for coming in. I think that there's a lot of really cool takeaways for new dads to listen to. One thing I loved especially was how life doesn't stop when you become a parent. I mean, you guys have, like you said, been to Disney World multiple times. You've taken a cruise. You've gone on trips. Like, you don't have to completely end your life. You just have to change it a little bit, and you can still make it work. And I think that was awesome. So, I mean, thanks for coming in. I'm glad that everything's going great for you guys, and best of luck as William continues to grow.
Thank you very much. People need to know about what you all are doing here. I don't know what started you two. I know there's episodes, but this is something that needs to be addressed, and there's books and there's conversations, but people need to be transparent about talking about parenthood and talk about the gross and the funny and the sad and the angry. But what you've started here is very important.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
That means a lot. I mean, that's what we've been trying to do since the very beginning, and I mean, it's growing, and I feel like we are able to help some dads out, and I don't want to get all choked up, but thank you. Thanks a lot for saying that.
Yeah. And hey, maybe we can reconvene when he's
yeah, absolutely. Come back on.
Like a year or where you are now, and I can come in and go, I remember when you were talking about that.
Yep.
He doesn't
you didn't tell me it was like this, Jesse.
I'm not sleeping anymore.
That's right.
All right, cool. So that's a good place to end it. One thing before we go, I wanted to give a quick shout out. We have a listener in Germany named Torben. Torben sent us a direct message on Instagram this past week. He has welcomed his child, Mates. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but he reached out to us a while back when they were still in the pregnancy phase, and now that beautiful baby boy is out in the world. So Torben, congratulations to you and your wife. Welcome Mates, if I'm saying that correctly, to the world for us, and keep on listening and let us know how things are going.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah. So, Brandon, between this week and next week, if our listeners want to reach out to us with questions, stories, tips, that kind of thing, where can they find us?
You can check out all of our handsome faces on our Facebook page at our Facebook Live videos. Please give us a like and a follow there, and you can do the same on Twitter and Instagram at Dadsplaining Podcast. If you want to reach out to us directly, as Jesse was just talking about, you can send us an email at dadsplainingpodcast@gmail.com, and then you can check out this episode and every episode every Monday on any place you get your podcasts.
That's right. And remember, we have a parenting group on Facebook now, Dadsplaining a Fatherhood group. Just search for it, send us a join request. We will gladly accept you. Mom's welcome too. It's not just for dads. And yeah, we'd love to keep that conversation going. So Brandon, what are we going to talk about next week?
Next week, we're going to talk about how well or not so well we are doing when it comes to disciplining our children. And, you know, when you say disciplining, we don't mean like cracking the whip. We're just thinking like when they are a little obstinate. Jesse today talked about his son no longer wanting to eat his favorite meal. Like, how do you deal with that? How do you get through it? And more importantly, how do you sleep at night? Because I don't really, you know, and I'm just like, why won't you eat? I just want to feed you. So we're going to get into all of that next week.
Awesome. So until next time, I'm Jesse.
And I'm Brandon.
And hey, Brandon, what do you call a magic dog?
I have no idea.
A labracadabrador.
Hey, there it is.
That joke comes courtesy of Reddit/r/dad jokes, the dad jokes subreddit on reddit.com. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.